my aggressive repertoire with black in e4, e5, an opening usually considered quite solid, but that I love to play in a very spicy way. I tested it in 7 games against opponents of increasing levels. These are the strongest plans and tactics with the black pieces. There we go, e4, e5, knight out, attacking this pawn, we protect it with the knight, and they go for the Italian game. Knight here, will they go fried lever? Yes or no? No, but this gives us a huge chance. Knight there is actually a mistake, because you can sacrifice the knight in big style. Now, the opponent is almost fainting on the other side of the board, or maybe not, but now they will be, because this is shocking. We sacrifice the knight in order to win it back one move later with a brilliant fork. And the idea is that we want to take control over the center. And now the most logical move to at least take this pawn, so to win at least a pawn back, is a mistake. Because while they restore the material equality, now we have a huge advantage, which is the bishop here. Now, a very solid way to retreat the queen is on d8, but I've discovered lately that the best square is here on d6. And the reason is that the queen from d6 is flexible, because can be used also to attack this king. Okay, now this is a smart move. In a way, the knight is attacking both the queen and this pawn. If we move the queen away, opa, there is a fork. So we need to keep the queen close by, and I will go with the queen back home. But now there is a difference, because this knight here is doing absolutely nothing. It seems like it's aggressive, but it's not really annoying for us. I will keep developing, probably bishop here. Now already we could see a dangerous tactic. Okay, not. They want to try to get rid of the pin. And the point is that this knight is threatening this pawn, but if you protect it, there is no problem. Plus, at any point, I can simply send it back. And yeah, white didn't really achieve anything. I will do that exactly now, because this knight is also controlling the d5 squares. So maybe at some point I want to go with knight d4 in order to attack the knight that is pinned. Remember, if this knight moves away, the queen is hanging. Now, if I do that, they will play the move g4, intermezzo, attacking my bishop. And if I move the bishop back, this pawn is hanging. So what I still didn't do is to place my king into safety. So I will go out with the bishop, protecting also this pawn. And now I'm ready to go for the move short castle. A very logical way to develop for them is bishop g5, attacking my queen. But that's a tactical blunder. It loses a piece, literally. But you need to know how. Well, they don't go for that. Very good for them. They are putting pressure on this pawn. I will definitely get my king out of that file before proceeding with any sort of attack. And still, my idea is to go with the knight on d4 at some point. Bishop here is still a mistake. Attention. Attention. Will they play it or not? Let's see. Well, rook e4 should be a mistake as well. The rooks, remember, the rooks are not pieces that you want to go too wild in the opening or in the middle game, because usually the rooks need open files. And here the rook already can easily be attacked by my pawns, my minor pieces. And since it's a high value piece, we'll have always to move again and move again and move again. So it's usually, you just risk to waste time if you go out with the queen too early, or in this case, if you go out with the rook too early. And now we have an example of how bad things can go, because in this case, I'm just taking this. So the rook is attacked by the queen, which is protected by the knight. But now I can first remove the defender and then take the rook. And this is just a free cheese macaroni. Very juicy for us. Very good. Now, how to convert this game into a win? Well, we have two ways, as always. Either you trade down the pieces, you trade down this knight, you trade down this bishop, you trade down everything, and you reach an end game with an extra rook. That's pretty fun. Or you try to win even more material with some nice combinations, some nice tactics. Or you even try to give checkmate. So now, I would Okay, GG's. I wanted to play this move actually. It's giga strong. Because this queen is actually pinned now. The queen cannot move. And my idea is that if I take immediately this queen, now after this I have to go back with the queen. And I don't want that. Instead with this, now the queen cannot move, cannot be saved. And if they play any move, I don't know, they play this bishop out. I'm now taking. And then I'm very close to give checkmate. New game, we are in the Ponziani opening. There is one thing that you can remember, and is that you can go for the move d5 immediately. They are taking with the pawn, and now we can go out with the queen. Now you can see the queen is very strong in the middle of the board because there is no knight attacking from c3. What is this? Moving the same piece twice. The knight is threatening nothing. I will just ignore it all. Just develop my knight. I have nothing to worry about because this square is well protected and bishop c4 is not playable, right? I'm expecting the move b3 here. I can tell you. They will play b3 because they want to put the bishop there. Okay, I can't read those players anymore. Okay, now I'm going to take, because then after pawn takes, I can develop this bishop with check, and then I'm ready to castle immediately. This is awesome. The only downside is that once the pawn is taking, the pawn is no longer on c3, so the square on c3 is free for the knight to go. Notice that the queen now is attacking this knight, but the knight is protected by the bishop. But now, attention how they cover this check, because if they do it with the bishop, I mean, I can see the future, guys. Now I can just take here, and this should be a free cheese macaroni, because the queen cannot be taken, of course, and if they take here, I take back with the knight. There is still some calculation to make, because after bishop takes, knight takes, okay, there was a queen check, which is check attacking the knight, but the knight can simply go back, defend the check, defend itself, and we are good. So we have an extra piece, so we go back to an easy system. We are going to trade pieces when possible. There was a free cheese macaroni, but doesn't matter. King safety is very important here. This pawn is hanging, this pawn is now hanging. Let's clean up the board as much as we can. Also, this check is very juicy. This knight is excited to go on d4. The king is almost running out of squares as well. Queen f3, trying to trade the queens. Generally, you can trade, but I want to try to do something even better. I'm giving a check, and now attention what they do. Because if they move the king there, do you see the move? Okay, I hope you saw that move. Bang. We are skewering the queen and the king, so they are losing even more material. And now what I want to do is just go for a quick resignation. No, for a quick checkmate. Oh, they might resign, that's what I was thinking. My brain is sometimes a bit weird. Bishop e2 is a defending move. They are unpinning the queen, so now we gotta take this lady. And after bishop takes, we actually can't take the rook because the bishop is now protecting it. So we are going to take this pawn, ready to take also this one. I wanted to take d4 since a million years, but eventually we'll take that pawn. Or maybe not. Okay, doesn't matter. We'll go with the knight forward. We want to checkmate as quickly as possible. The queen is now under attack, so we gotta take this other pawn. The bishop is out of the way, but this leaves us a free square for the rook to join the queen. And now we are gonna take it all, the knight, the pawn, and this is gonna end very quickly. The knight is moving, but now we can just take it. The bishop will take back while the rook is taking back, and now we give a check. We just need to bring the queen closer. If the king goes there, it's checkmate. If the king goes here, we are just going to follow the king. Or maybe not. Here we just give mate. GG's. The fried liver was one more time refuted. They played the move d3 to protect this pawn. So now we can develop our bishop. And my plan is pretty simple. I want to castle short and then play the move d5. To develop all my pieces in the quickest way, in the fastest way possible, and then go for the center. This doesn't apply in this scenario. But I want to test now something else. What if I go with the move g5? What if I try to attack the king on the king side and I go for long castle? This is a plan that when I was a little kid, I loved so much. I loved to attack the king to be on opposite side castling, so I could just push the pawns on the other side and attack the king. And here we are already pretty much ready for it, because attention, I was considering taking. This pawn is protected by the knight. Let's play the move queen d7. We are basically now flexible. We could go short, we could go long castle. This move is actually smart, because now they are attacking our knight. All right, this is the typical thing. We don't have to do it actually, because my knight could also go there. So this knight takes, we take, they take here. Yeah, this is the tactic that usually works. I'm calculating crazy things. So knight here. So the point is that the knight is unprotecting there. Usually the purpose is that the knight here is attacking this bishop. But this is too risky, because after knight here, there is knight take e4 attacking the queen. And if I take back, then they take here. And what they are threatening then is to give this fork. So we can't allow that. So I need to get rid of that very strong knight. And I need to do it with the bishop, because if I would have taken with the knight, it would have been a fork right now. Can you visualize that? But now I go back here with the knight, and my two knights are attacking this pawn, which is weak and cannot really be protected one more time. So we are probably going to win a little pawn. Not bad. They're moving the queen up, meaning that this pawn is really free. Now the question is, which knight is the best? I'm not 100% sure. Mostly we will just take if they take with the bishop, but I like to take this with this one because I want to keep the option open to maybe eventually push the f pawn as well. And for me it's pretty clear I'm gonna long castle, if I'm going to castle at all. And I think they should also go for long castle, because if not, my attack on the king side by pushing all these pawns is gonna be just too strong. I really like the move d4 because what they are trying to do is to open up the center. And their only advantage is the bishop pair. Now, taking seems quite needed, to be honest, because if not, they are going to take, and then this knight is under attack. And yeah, now they have the bishop pair, so they can exploit that. Because the less pawns are in the center, the more the bishops are very strong. Now I have to start to be careful because there is bishop here. And then I could play still the move c6, so that's fine. But nevertheless, I think I'm going to castle. What I needed to check shortly if there is any tactic involving my knight on d5 being x-rayed by the queen. Because once the knight is moving, then the queen is an extra attacker of the knight. So if the knight could move to a powerful square attacking something, like right now, then I would be in trouble. But this pawn is protected by the bishop. So I could simply, in theory, I can simply move the knight away and I will be fine. Now there is a tricky move to calculate shortly, and is knight b6, because I'm attacking this bishop, but there could be an in-between move, which is knight takes. But I have king b8 and then the knight and the bishop are both under attack. So this is a great move. I'm getting my knight off the dangerous square on d5 and I'm attacking this bishop. This is a mistake because after king here now there are two pieces under attack. So be extremely careful about in-between moves. Every time there is an attack and you're not defending, if you play an in-between move, but then the next move of your opponent is adding you a second problem, you just lose material. And that's what is happening now for white. So be extremely careful with in-between moves. They're fancy, but they require extreme good calculation skills. Okay? Keep it simple, and when a piece is under attack, find a way to defend it. And don't hang your queen. Very important. GG's. New game, we have queen f3, which is not the most recommended move in chess, because what is the queen doing here? Blocking the knight, going out too early. I will just bring my knight out on f6, and I will show you what is a very typical way to exploit the bad placement of this queen. And is usually by simply developing the knight, and then this knight wants to go forward on d4. Already, I think we can just go for this move, because the queen has just to go back where it was on d1. This is at least the best square, because if not, c2 is hanging. So all they did was just a big loss of time. Now, how do we keep going with our development? I am trying to evaluate the move d5, and I really love this move. It's usually not possible for black to go so aggressive so early, but since white didn't really play optimal, this move could work. Now I will do something in style of I want to make sure this is possible, the Scotch Gambit. So I'm not taking this pawn immediately, but I'm going on with quick development, because my idea is that after knight there, I want to play bishop g4, pinning this knight. Oh no. Usually in e45 structure is mostly never good to go with fianchetto. The idea of the move b3 or the move g3 is to bring a bishop on fianchetto, but usually those pawns are looking at the two central pawns that are usually blocked. So it's not a great diagonal. In this example, this diagonal is not that bad for the bishop, but you need to use too much time to get the bishop out in a not so powerful placement. In the meantime, what I can do is to simply castle, take this pawn, develop all my pieces in very strong squares, and this position, we could check the evaluation bar after the game, but I think it's already Please subscribe if you enjoy all these videos. It means that you want to see more of that, and maybe your opponents will also blunder the queen. Okay, I will go with the knight here. I want to capitalize even more. Why not? Okay, let's calm down. How to win this position? We have an extra queen. They have just a knight for it. So we need to trade pieces or improve material even more. I will bring the rook here to protect this pawn that is right now attacked twice. Very good. Castle is a great move. Let's go with the knight back. The knight here is not really doing anything anymore, attacking a pawn that is well protected. So it's good to protect this pawn, so we need to stop thinking about that, and we can just keep going with our development now. And just now, my queen could start to go on f6, because my knight is fully developed. I will go... No, I don't even need to do that, because this bishop is overloaded. This bishop is not really attacking this pawn, and we will see why, because the bishop needs to protect somebody else, this knight. So now we give away a pawn, but we win another piece. Quick checkmate, use your queen to go on the g file. This can be super powerful, and I will try to show you why, because then you can just move the bishop to attack here one more time. Let's do this. There we go. Queen g5. Now bishop f3 is a huge threat. I'm threatening the rook and threatening the checkmate at the same time. Also in this position, I'm attacking this bishop with the rook and with the queen. Okay, h3 is not really helping much, because now I can take, this pawn cannot take back, because, well, the pawn is pinned. And the only move to defend, here there is another move, would have been to push this pawn, but then you lose the rook. But in this case, we just give the kiss of death. GG's. Quick analysis. In this position, white has no material advantage. But if we turn the evaluation bar, black is -2. Like if we would be up 2 pawns. And this is a great example of why developing your pieces as quickly as possible and in the strongest square possible is extremely important in every opening. Again, we have the move queen f3. We will just go out with a knight and with the other knight immediately after. I will actually just pre-move this. There we go. Now the knight wants to go forward on d4 if I can. c3 is a smart move because it's blocking exactly that, how do I develop all my pieces? I will go with the move g6, followed by bishop g7 and then castle. I'm not sure if this is right, but somehow I wanted to avoid the queen getting to g3 in the future and annoying my king. Maybe it's not needed because against queen h5 this is what you play, but it's fine to play something somehow in this direction. The only bad point is that the bishop in fianchetto is not really the most active bishop since it's blocked by his own pawn, but we will try to activate it once we play the move d5. This is our plan. d3 is opening up the square for the bishop. Probably the bishop wants to come here to pin this knight, but we are just going to castle, and since the knight is protected twice, attacked twice, so we are going to castle and probably try to go for h6, g5, wanting to say goodbye to that knight. How to keep going? Probably d6, bishop g4 could be an idea if it tactically works, and it's hard that that tactically works because after bishop g4 they have in between move bishop take f6. They won a knight and they are attacking our queen. So we are losing a piece actually in that combination. So be careful, very careful to this type of tactics over there. Bishop d5 is a very surprising move. They're moving the same piece twice, not really threatening anything too dangerous, because if they take that knight, all right, I will play the move h6, just wanting to ask a question to this bishop. In which diagonal do you want to stay? Do you want to trade here? Do you want to go back? Do you want to go back over there? And if the bishop is leaving the pin of the knight, then we can consider taking, because after pawn takes, this pawn is going to be weak. We have the bishop here. This pawn is free to jump forward, meaning that this bishop is going to be a bit stronger, not anymore blocked, looking on a wall of pawns. So that's all right. I didn't expect this move. We have the bishop here anyway, but we are not going to take this bishop, but the other one. One thing we have to be careful is the tactic. Ooh. Not this one. How to take? I will take towards the center. Generally, that's very useful. And I want to play for the move d5. Attention that the queen is on the same file as the bishop. Oh, that's a very nice idea. Oh no, my pawn. That's their plan. But if they take, where is the queen going right now? That's sassy, I know. But that's what you need to do when your opponent is going around with the queen too much. Usually you want to attack it with minor pieces, and the queen cannot really keep going around. Usually needs to retreat. So queen f3 is usually a waste of time. And I'm glad karma hit them strong, so they will stop playing that move. GG's. Ooh. Okay, this is a very tricky opening and very important to know how to punish it. d5 is a very important move. Now we don't take, we know this already, because if we do, we have problem on f7 and we play knight a5. Our idea is that we would like to trade first this bishop and then to take back. So now they're giving a check and we play bishop d7. This is my favorite move. It's actually even played by Magnus Carlsen, but after I played it. So Magnus Carlsen definitely is subscribed to my YouTube channel, like you should. And yeah, the idea is that we want to trade off this bishop and then take back this pawn in full safety. I have never seen this move in my life. I understand the idea. The idea is that after bishop here, they want to take back with the pawn, and then this knight is kind of unsafe. But I think now I can just take back this pawn, since the sacrifice over there is no longer working, because after king here, if the queen comes to give a check, attacking the king and attacking the knight can simply cover. And that's a huge difference, because it doesn't apply when the bishop is over there. Okay, now this is getting very spicy, because this trade is available, this pawn can be taken, there is a potential check over there, this knight is protected just by this bishop, and the two kings are still in the middle of the board. So we need to try to be very precise. And I have an idea in mind. I will take here, and after bishop takes, actually this knight is not really under attack because I have bishop there. And so I can just keep going with my development. And I love the move bishop here because I'm not only attacking the knight, but I'm also ready to castle, which is the main priority here, since the center is very unstable due to these pawns that can be traded and at any point. This is a very complicated middle game, but try to keep it simple and follow up the typical principles. King safety, develop all your pieces, they always apply. Okay, so now something went off for my opponent. I don't understand what they did. They gave it out away to then take the bishop here, but then I have this bishop move, which is going to win back the rook. And where is their attack? Because right now, I'm going to have some good material advantage here, huh? I think bishop d2 is maybe the best move, trying not to lose the full rook. And it's important to notice that, okay, I'll take here immediately, that after this, I can either play king e6 to defend the knight, or I could play knight back, defending the track and saving my knight. Actually, my knight is not even hanging, right? Because the queen is protecting, so I could simply put the king back to safety, and maybe that's the best move, because after knight here, this pawn is hanging. Okay, I will simply bring out this rook so that I'm ready to go with a perfect artificial castle. The rook is out of the way, and then we are going to bring the king here. This move is sneaky because it's pinning this knight, but I'm not too worried about it because I'm going to bring the king first here and then over there. Usually, if there is a knight pin, the typical way to win it is by attacking it with a pawn. But here white has no way to attack it with a pawn because there is no pawn here that would be attacking the knight. And if they attack it with the other pawn, well, they are unpinning the knight. So the knight can simply move away and I don't really have a problem. Okay, now the idea is tricky. What they want to do is something related to b4, and then maybe c4, c5, trying to trap my pieces. So it's time to take here in the center. And now they are in front of a big... I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Okay, let's assess the situation. We lost a piece, but we're still fine, since we have still an extra rook, right? But let's try to be a little bit more careful, okay? Amazing. So let's go out with the queen. I want to defend this pawn, but also let my rook join the party. That's crazy. How did I not see the piece there? Yeah, don't forget to always ask when your opponent is moving, what is their idea, and draw arrows to where they can go next, so you should figure it out. This is a tricky move because this queen is attacking the knight, but I can simply take the pawn now with the knight, and they lost a pawn. Good. Let's keep going. Let's keep playing with all the pieces. Now we can take back with the queen. The queen is strong in the center of the board, looking at many things. For example, if this bishop is moving, now this pawn is falling, and we take it. We do take it. This king is a little bit exposed, so in order to avoid all potential checks, I'm going to get it out of the way. And now this move, I love it. Knight c4. That's a great move, attacking the queen, attacking the bishop. The queen is the piece that needs to protect over there. This is now dangerous because this bishop is looking there and also at my queen. I don't love this. But I can play this, attacking the bishop. And, well... Attention! Attention! My king is naked. If the bishop is taking, the king is taking, can I escape from a draw? Because my king doesn't really have a shield. A protection. Okay, luckily they went back, which now allows me the beautiful knight c4, attacking the queen, attacking the bishop. We will review that in the analysis very quickly, but I want to see if bishop takes g7 could have been a good move for white. Now we're attacking the queen, attacking this bishop. We take a free queen. And I think we get to see if bishop takes g7 was a good move or not. Let's go. And yes, bishop takes g7 is the best move. Black still has a defense according to the engine, but it's very tough to see because if the king is hiding here, then there is a check. The king goes there, there is a check. And the best way is to run with the king apparently all this way. Now you have to calculate what if check with the rook, what if check here. And this is the most precise check according to the engine. And the king has to go in a super dangerous spot. Now, rook here can be played, the king is running, there are still so many checks, but at some point the king is getting into safety. And this is so funny, there is just one good move for black here. And rook d6 would be losing, because this rook is hanging. So the king has to go on c5, and it's very hard to understand if the king is going to be mated, if there are any forks, any checks with the knight. It's really hard to evaluate this position. The king is still getting checked. The king has to go to c4. This is absolutely crazy. The king has to take this knight now, or hide on b3. Both are good. And now after this, the king is hiding, and there are still some checks on f3. Now the king is hiding here. Are there still checks? Yes, on f4. But now finally the checks are over and black is winning. That's a huge calculation to do there, huh? And there we go, final game. We raised the rating. Opponent has a 1585 elo and you're playing the bishop opening, going out with the bishop. And okay, now we are going to transpose to a normal two knights defense. And this is closing the circle. They are going out with the knight here, which is a mistake because allows the beautiful knight sacrifice to then follow up with the fork. Are they going to play the best move, defending with the bishop the knight? Or are they going to take here, giving away the bishop pair? And they give away the bishop pair. So we take with the queen, and now we are attacking this knight, which is not moving. Usually the knight is moving back here to attack the queen. Now we can develop the bishop super strong on f3, pinning the knight, wanting to threaten knight d4. And here I'm going to play super aggressive because I want to go for long castle. I will go with my queen back here. Since my bishop has been moved already out, I'm ready to castle long, and then I want to attack on the king side because the king is probably going to castle short. Okay, we keep the pressure. I want to keep this pin on. Very important to notice that after g4, bishop is moving, this pawn is still defended, so it's all good. And now it's probably time to go long castle, I guess. There we go. Important to check that there is no problem on this diagonal, but that's absolutely fine. One idea could be at some point to play knight here, and the queen cannot really move that easily since, well, we could just take here and then this is a big problem for them. So how to attack here? We have opposite side castling. I really want to open up files on this side of the board. Can I play the move g5? So the knight cannot take, but the bishop could, attacking my rook. But I really like this. So we go for some crazy, badass sacrifices. Now we sacrifice the pawn, and we are also going to sacrifice a rook. Because after bishop takes, I can take here. And how is white stopping the mate? There is one move right now that is stopping me from taking, and is the move g3. But then I can maybe sacrifice even more. I could sacrifice the rook, but I want to be very precise here. And I might go either with the knight here or with the bishop there. Yes, let's go with the knight here. Both moves are so strong that I'm not sure which one to pick, but this knight is lost. There is no way to defend the knight. And I'm not just threatening to take the knight, but once I take with the knight, it's actually mate. Or better, the queen has to be sacrificed first, then I take with the bishop, and then I'm mating next. How to defend here? I really don't know. Maybe the best way is to give away to take this knight and give away the queen. Because still black has lots of material. Okay, so that's basically what they are doing. Now, if I take the queen, they are going to take my queen, and I don't want that. Absolutely not. So I'm going to sacrifice my other rook, and after bishop takes, I will take this queen. The queen cannot run away. If the queen is moving, I'm giving mate at the next move with knight f3. So now this rook needs to be taken. There we go. And now I can take the queen. And the beautiful part is that the bishop is untouchable because this is checkmate. GG's. Guys, in this game we didn't have one, but two brilliant moves. Oh, that's so cool. If you enjoyed this video, YouTube thinks you will love this one. Check it out because YouTube knows a lot about us. Thank you for watching. Ciao.